All right, so this is going to be the kind of so we say there's the context, and then there's 5 parts to sales. So there's only 5 things that I work on with my entire sales team. I've said that a bunch, but I'm going to keep saying it because it is that simple. Don't stray, just master these 5 things, master them. All right, so one of them is going to be rapport. So we talked about the context is about being 100% for the customer to build trust. The other thing that builds trust is rapport and a relationship. We want to create a relationship. We want to be their friend, and we want to create that relationship with a customer because that builds trust. And the best way to do it is with rapport. Look, painting is not exciting. Paint is not exciting. Getting a painting estimate is not exciting. If you want to be memorable, you got to build rapport and be the person they remember. All right, because they're going to be looking at all these different estimates. They're going to go with the person that they trust the most. Because look, someone's going to have, these 3 different estimates. They're all going to be a different price. They're all going to look on different piece of paper. They're going to be different companies with different reviews. They don't know which one is the best one, right? Like, is this guy just lowballing? Is he really going to do as good a job as this more expensive one? And then there's this really cheap one, but he has a shitty contract. And this expensive one has all the reviews, but then this middle of the road one has this. They don't know what's best. They're going to go with the person they trust. That's what ends up happening. And sometimes they don't. That's why at best we're going to close about 50 to 60% of our estimates. Now there's some people who might be watching this video that say, I close 90% of my estimates. I close 80% of my estimates. It's like, if they're referrals, you should close 90% of your referrals. But we're talking about door-to-door lead services where you're competing against 3 or 4 other companies. All right, and in those situations, when you're competing against 3 or 4 other companies, how do you close 50% of them? This is how. All right, so it's all about building that relationship and building trust. So we're just going to go through these 5 points. So first, always start with rapport. So right when the customer opens the door, hey Jim, how's it going? Eric, Foothills Painting, good to meet you. So you want to sit down inside, start inside for a few minutes? Okay, great. We start walking in, and right away I say, so Jim, how long have you lived here for? And every single time, that's my first question. How long have you lived here? How long have you lived here? And that leads into a bunch of other stuff. All right, so I'm going to jump down here real quick. So honest, genuine rapport, be genuinely curious. Build real rapport. Don't be fake, don't be cheesy, don't be full of it. Be genuinely curious about people. Like, just be curious. Like, get out there and learn. Like, you'll meet some really cool people. You can learn all kinds of stuff. People have, there's some people who spend 40 years of their life, doing energy and being in energy, or being in oil, or being in this, or being in electronics, or being in technology, or being a mom, there's so many. Everyone has such a different story, and there's something really interesting and unique you can find about someone if you are just genuinely interested and curious to learn about people. And then when I say genuine, it's like, look, if you're not into hunting, and this guy's into hunting, don't pretend like you're into hunting. It's going to come off like try hard. It's going to come across like a strategy. Like it's got to be genuine, because if you're building rapport with someone in order to sell the job, it comes off fake and it'll hurt your trust. But you need to have rapport to sell. So the key is having it be honest and genuine rapport. So what I do is I say, how long have you lived? So Jim, how long have you guys lived here for? Oh, 20 years? Wow, that's a long time. So you guys have been in Fort Collins for quite a while. You've probably seen a lot change. That's cool. Nice. Yeah, I've grown up here. I've been here this many years. So that's awesome. Where did you live before Colorado? Nice. Okay. And what brought you guys out here? Okay. And I just keep asking questions until I find something that I'm really interested in with him. And I'll make some comments here and there. And if it's not going anywhere, I move back to paint. All right. So the point is, how long have you lived here for is a great first question. That's what almost our entire sales team and my business partners all start with, because it's a great question that can lead a lot of different directions. And then you have follow-up questions until you start to find a chord or find something you guys are really interested in. And then if the rapport is not there, or the moment rapport dies, or right before it's starting to die, you need to take the lead, and you need to be the person to bring it back to paint. All right, so if you're building rapport with someone and you're building rapport, and if the customer says, all right, Eric, what do you got for me? I know I screwed up. He's impatient. I'm not paying attention. I'm not self-aware enough that he wants to talk about paint, and I'm over here talking about rapport. All right, so you need to be self-aware enough to lead the estimate. You need to be the person to bring it back to paint and not them. So you start building rapport, but there's a point where you sit down and I'm still building rapport, and if I'm not really hitting any chords or finding anything I'm really interested in with them, or I've been talking about something they're interested in, and it's just like it's starting to go on and say, hey, honestly, Jim, I'd love to keep talking about this, but let's switch gears a little bit and let's talk a little bit about painting. Or maybe I'd say, okay, cool. So let's talk about paint. So tell me, what are you guys looking to get done? I know on the phone you said this and this, and you guys just want to kind of let me know what you've been thinking. And you start switching to paint, all right? So you need to bring it back to paint. So you start here, then you got to bring it back to painting. And sometimes it's 3 minutes of rapport, sometimes it's 1 minute, sometimes it's 30 minutes. So then you do more rapport through your transitions, all right? So that includes like when you're walking outside, all right? So we finish everything inside the house. We finished asking questions, running through the client manual. You know, we've kind of finished everything in the house with them. And then when we're walking outside, you know, I'll say, so what do you guys got planned for the weekend? Or, wow, can you guys believe how beautiful it is? Or, wow, that's a really cool piece of art. Where did you guys get that? Or, wow, you guys have a beautiful backyard. I can't believe you have so much space. This is amazing. You back up at the golf course. Do you guys golf? So I'm going to make some comment. It's either going to be about their yard, about their house, about the weekend, about the weather, about the time of year, about the Broncos, about something. All right, so when I'm walking outside, I start building rapport again. And then I get outside, and then I'm doing the walk around, which we're going to talk about. In the NSSC. So when we're doing the walk around, we look at one side of the house, and it's like, all right, so Jim, tell me what are you concerned about on this side of the house? Is there anything you notice, anything you're concerned about? And he says what he says, and we talk about everything on this side of the house. I say, cool, well, I think we've covered everything. Let's go check out the next side. And when we're walking over to check out the next side of the house, that's when I bring up rapport again. Said, so, you know, are you guys football fans? Oh, hey, you guys got all kinds of toys back here. How many dogs do you have? Oh, wow, you guys got a soccer net. Your kid play soccer? That's cool. Hey, how many kids do you have? Do you guys like this neighborhood? What do you think of the neighborhood? How do you guys like living in Fort Collins? What do you think about what do you guys think about how crazy Colorado's been getting with all the traffic and everything? I mean, there's a million things you can talk about. So when you're walking around the corners of the house, like, bring up more rapport. So that's another one of like the transitions. So when you're going around corners, you talk more rapport. And then obviously, like at the end of the estimate, maybe you finished walking around the whole house. You kind of wrapped up everything. Maybe you were in the backyard. And I'm like, okay, cool, Jim. So let me run you through everything I came up with. Cool, that'll sound good. And I do my pre-close. And then maybe we're walking through the house together. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go get my stuff out of my car. And I'm walking with Jim. I'm going to start building rapport again. If there's not paint, you fill it with rapport. The next place you build rapport, so then you do your estimate, and you do your measurements, and you write up your contract, and you come back in the house. There's already like a little bit of tension around reviewing the contract, at least for some people. And so when you walk back in the house, you don't want to go straight into paint. Just walk back in and be like, oh man, isn't it beautiful outside this weekend? What do you guys got planned for the weekend? Or something else, right? And you just really quick, sit down at the table. Cool, so let me run you guys through everything here. Did you guys have any questions? Did you run through the client manual? Do you have any questions for me? Okay, cool. And we go through the contract. And then, like I said, the key here is like just honest, genuine rapport. Like, just be a friendly person. If they're giving you one-word answers and stuff, don't let it faze you. Like, be cool. Like, just keep being friendly. Like, the point is, like, the people who give you one-word answers and put up a guard, they're just being tough guys. They still appreciate. I'm like that when people are selling to me. I still love the people who are persistent and still friendly and don't get fazed by me being an asshole. So that's it for rapport. I guess the most important thing is just like build rapport with people, get to know them, build that relationship, and just have fun. Like, have fun at your estimates, get to know people, be cool, be great with them. Sometimes it's going to be different all the time, so you really just got to kind of be in a dance with it. So I hope that gives you a little bit of direction, but just doing a really strong initial phone call and then building rapport. So you have a strong phone call, so both people are there and they're all prepped and everything, and then you build a really good relationship with them, and then you do your pre-closes. Just those 3 things. Those are the only 3 things we even work on with our sales reps in the first 2 weeks, and our sales reps go out when they first get trained, and they book jobs right away. Just focus on those 3 things. So next video is pre-closing.